Okay. I just want to say, this shows you the whole mummification process, how they did a funeral. Okay. So today, as a Kemetic priest, I'm a Kemetic priest, I don't have to guess how a funeral was carried out. They left records. They tell you exactly how long it took to prepare the body. They showed you the procession. They showed you taking it all the way to laying the body to rest and the prayers and stuff that goes along with it. So we don't even have to guess. So today, almost all funerals, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, or whatever, they're following this.
Even the 40-day process.
Yes.
Was it deliberate that they used pictures as opposed to words, so that the language would be understood years later?
Well, you have to understand, this is a language of nature. We are people of nature. Mm-hmm. So I don't think in their original concept, they were saying we're going to use pictures because people will be able to understand it. And no, they were depicting nature in its truest form and use those symbols. See, the Medu Neter, these words are on 3 levels. The physical, the metaphysical, and then the spiritual. So you have the concrete, that which is not, and then the spiritual connotation. So when I see that scarab, if you don't know what a scarab does in nature, part of that will be missing to you. Right. If you don't understand what a falcon is in nature, so when the guy said, I'm the great falcon, you're just like, so what?
Yeah, exactly. And they never, by nature, they never studied it.
So that's why these just became gods and goddesses. They didn't understand the various nature. They didn't understand, and they still don't. Watch this here. Today, when I was in Tanzania, Wazungu was talking to one of my great-grandfathers, and he was talking about, well, you know, you live right here in the wilderness. He says, well, when did this become wild? He says, I've lived here all my life, and it's not wild. Why do you call it the wilderness? It's nothing wild out here. He says, you are the wild one. You are the one out of place. Everything else, he said, you see that line? He is in place. He's not wild, a wild beast. He is following his nature. So those things who don't follow their nature is wild. So I don't live in the wilderness. I don't live in the wild. You do. Your city is wild. That's the wilderness. So they wanted to use symbols of nature. You know something? If an alien being came from another planet right here and looked at nature, calculated everything that it saw, and then looked at the Medu Neter, it would be able to translate it and understand it. But if he picked up your textbook, Declaration of Independence or some things like that, it wouldn't have no clue unless somebody from that culture taught them. So you see the difference of a nature? So that means that all the Africans, see, what they show you, Queen Hatshepsut shows an expedition to Punt, which is in approximately Somalia area. And you can see that they're exchanging paperwork, papyrus, written scrolls. So it means that these Africans way in Central Africa understood the Medu Neter that the ancient Kemet were writing, and that they were communicating perfectly, bartering and exchange, and were writing treaties with each other. And so this so-called picture writing was a universal nature writing. So anybody that understood nature could communicate.
And how do you explain the different colors of
a literate society?
The colors correlate with numerology. Numerology was again created by us. Okay, so you have to understand that. And just to give you some word, write down a person's name, Shashatmas. Shashatmas is the nature of mathematics, astronomy, and astrology. Colors correlate with that. Just like the scales of music correlate.
Okay.
Right? With that, colors correlate. Sirius A and Sirius B, the binary star system, which the ancient Kemet understood. So you can see they didn't think the world was flat. Okay, all right. All men in general will be depicted dark red, symbolic of Sirius B, the dark, dense, heavy, masculine star. Women in artwork would be depicted with the yellow ochre of Sirius A, the bright, large star. So women, Sirius A, men, Sirius B.
You mean they weren't color struck?
And if they wanted to give you the highest compliment, they made you black, the essence of origin of all colors. White actually isn't a color, it's the absence of color. Right, because that's the highest the highest tribute was to make it black, the essence of all, where white is the absence of it. So you need to be clear about that. Okay. And this is Asar, and that's the white crown. You was asking me before, the white crown of the South, my brother, the South. That's why the Nasut. The Nasut could be just the Nasut, the ruler of the South, and wear that. That's the white crown. The red crown is something like of the North. Was originally like a straw little hat that the wise men wore, and they combined the two together. But that's the white crown. Ostrich feather is that a full-grown ostrich, all of his feathers are in perfect symmetry. So that was part of my art. So that's why they put it there.
So how do we get upstairs?
I think we got to go back out. When we saw Memrod, the head of the Mesopotamian and Ethiopian, and he was depicted as the great lion, the great Haru, the great falcon. Well, you notice even today in Western society, you go to any municipal buildings, and when I was in London, you have lions out in front. There's no lions there. Even in China, the greatest dance, the highest tribute in the martial is the lion's dance. All tribute to the Africans who taught them. It's great lions. But also means that many that travel took place during the age of Leo. The lion. The Nebhu, I'll talk about upstairs, which is what they call the Great Sphinx, was built during the time of Leo. Can't get enough of here. Okay, but pyramid building, the pyramids in ancient Kash were different from the pyramids in there, only because the material they used was slightly different. And they used, you seen that shaduf, how you deal with water in ancient Kemet? You're all familiar with that?
With the water. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Well, they use an instrument like that in Kash to build their pyramids. That's how they lift the stones up. With levers, something like the shaduf. But what happened, in order to lift things up high, it has to be tight with the shaduf. And so the pyramids in Kash are tighter and higher as opposed in Kemet or water-based, because they use a slightly different building process. That's all. But the idea and the concepts is all of them represent the great mound, the mound of Bata, or the mound of creation emerging from the great waters. Great mother giving life, giving life. In Europe, they basically don't have a great mother figure. That's why they just borrow. In Europe, there's no great mother figure. Right. So that's why they just borrow that's why they use that Venus symbol, that woman, that's a black woman. So even Europeans use their great mother symbol as a black woman, because we're the mother of everybody. Those are those Shawatis we talked about, all of them. And I just want to get this. This is the Hotep. So when everybody is saying Hotep, yes. That's a Hotep. It's an offering table to offer someone satisfaction. Food would be laced on here. So when you're saying Hotep to somebody, you're saying, are you satisfied? Have you eaten? Have you had water, bread today? Have you become? Right, it means more than just peace. Peace is a real watered down version of that. Okay. And that's that stela again, which is a Hotep de Nasut, which is about prayer, it's about reverence. It's not about just putting your name, you were born this date and died that date. The Wazungu took this and just modified it to put on their tombs, because they didn't have a symbol for that. Wazungu. The Kiswahili word for people of Western Asia who have the same mentality, same mindset, who are anti-nature, who have a termite mentality. So it's not a derogatory word, it's a word that describes their character on the planet Earth. They are the Wazungu.
So it's better than calling them the inbred mutant albino.
Right. Building y'all the way they have done, this has nothing to do with Europe.
Look at the feet on it.
Look at the feet, same feet. We just saw inside the temples. Just saw, go all the way back to the old period. This would have been Necharu, great forces instead of individual people. See how they got the statues here? This is an imitation. The columns don't come from Europe. They were brought there. They're from Kemet. Kemet. Even the great.
The Greek column.
Yes. Look, those horses, those symbols up there, on both sides. That's an ancient Kemet. Yesterday and tomorrow. And the middle is today, from ancient Kemet.
Yes.
Look at the deities, up the way they are set up there. That's a triad there with protection around it. This is all ancient Kemet. These columns, look, the protectors. This is imitating what they saw. They just put their faces in it. Does this start down this column or down the center? It starts down the middle? Okay. So, what happens, so, see, this is why culture is so, okay, this is why culture is so important. If you don't know your culture, when you see something like that out there, you think that's the greatness of what Europeans have done. If you have no knowledge of your culture, if you have knowledge of your culture, you just smile when you walk through there, saying, thieves, robbers, you know, plagiarism, you know. And I think the law of plagiarism means that nobody but them can imitate and take other people's stuff.
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you know, so that's what plagiarism really is.
Mine, but I'll take yours.
I can take yours. That's the law. That's the law. Okay. You'll notice this is symbol of affection. Symbol of affection. Now you can see this is a wig that she's wearing. Okay. And wigs were created in ancient Kemet, but they are imitating, you know, real hairstyles, just like today. You know, when you have a wig, it's imitating a real hairstyle. So many of the hairstyles took days to do. I mean, we know today how elaborate some of them can get, you know, and we see them. Again, the left foot forward. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So you need to be clear, you know, about that. Even their dress, the whole Masonic apron, comes from ancient Kemet. So first of all, the whole Masonic order, Mason, all of that is an imitation of some of the knowledge from ancient Kemet. So we just need to be real clear about that. The so-called founding fathers of America were all 52 of the 55 people who signed the Declaration of Independence were all in the Masonic order.
They were.
You're talking about an apron over there?
Yes, the whole Masonic apron comes from that concept of the kilt, what was worn in ancient Kemet. And so, you know, we just need to be real clear about that, you know. Washington, D.C.
Marie.
Washington, D.C. is trying to imitate ancient Kemet.
Yeah.
You have the Potomac River, you have the river coming through. It's supposed to be symbolic of the Nile.
Okay.
They took they broke it off into 10 square miles, right?
So what's it?
5 of the miles is in Maryland, which is after Mary, the Virgin Mary from ancient Kemet. Ast, his name is Marie. I know you think Mary is a European name. No, Mary means the beloved one in Medunetia. And the Hebrews borrowed that. And so since the Hebrews look European today, we think it's a European name. But Mary, the beloved one. So his name was Mary. That's why Jesus' mother had to be named Mary. So half of Washington, D.C. is from Mary, the beloved one, Mary, the Virgin who gave birth to Hoodoo. The other side is Virginia, from the Virgin, the Virgin Mary. So Washington, D.C. is from Virginia and Maryland. The Virgin gives birth to Hoodoo. So you have to, and if you go to the Virginia side, that's where the cemetery is. That's supposed to be the west. And the city and the capital is all in the east where the people live. These Masonic Masons knew what I'm telling you right now, and they used it. And Benjamin Banneker laid it out for them. When you see the Washington Monument, this is what they're trying to do. Good old George and them and Abe and all of them are trying to duplicate these postures. So, you know, I just want to be real clear about it. That's what they're imitating. They're imitating these postures. You see the two-tone because this was destroyed and they plastered it back together in its likeness. Yes. Again, here's your kind of a triad again. And the writing is here. So now look, see, this is why you need to know how to read. The name they got over there could be total bogus. I don't even look at them.
You don't know.
Because it's irrelevant.
You just go right
He
here.
tells you right there. See that shin? Shin means encirclement. It's an elliptical because that's the way the universe is, elliptical, not round like that.
The oval.
The oval is elliptical. It's symbolic of universe. That means the person's name in there is the ruler of their own universe. Okay, and his name is Min Ka'u Ra. That's one of his names. Usually a Nasut has 5 names. He's born with a name. When he goes through coronation, he's given another name. So he has names to deal with his rulership. Okay, so this means the establishment of the spirits of Ra. One who establishes the spirit of Ra. So that's what he's supposed to do. His presence is supposed to establish the spirit of Ra. Okay, and you can see here, and that's him with his left foot forward. And then that's the here is symbolic of, see that standard on the head? That's symbolic of the town or the city they come from. So she is the great patron of that town or city. Not a god, she's a symbolic of the energy of the characteristics of that city. This is Het Haru, the great mother.
Great mother.
So they're all giving power to the Nasut, the ruler.
So the mother give power.
Yes,
too.
yes. He can't, that's how he gets his power.
Is that the rabbit or a hare?
Yeah, that's a hare. Which usually means wind, to exist, to come into in ancient Kemet. Okay. Look like they loaned this out to another Wazungu. Okay. But see, they're writing very clear.
Yeah, very clear.
Tech, Nu, Nick. I mean, you know, Haru, Wep, Wood, the roads of the great scholars. And here is a scribe telling him to follow the roads of the great scholars. Oh, come on, this is clear. You know, the hand, Jew, is telling you the actual city that this person is from or born in, okay? And there ain't no Heliopolis at the end of that or none of that, no Opolis or anything. Showing you the offering, the reverence. Everybody who came to ancient Kemet always stated that these people that we encounter in ancient Kash or ancient Kemet are the most reverend, most spiritual people on the planet. And they also used to say, and the most long-lived. And here in America, we have the shortest lifespan because we're living somebody else's culture and lifestyle.
Yes.
Eating the wrong foods. You remember that big one we saw? That's what this is. This is another version of that. It's just that this is made from granite, granite stone. And all the granite in ancient Kemet comes from Kash, the area of Kash. Kash is up south.
Up south. Kemet.
Is down north. Up south, down north.
So we go the other way. We go in the opposite when we're talking to the way it is right now, the way we understand it in levels. Because we go in, north is the entrance. For us, that's not the case.
Right, that's the exit.
That's the exit of the world.
Right. So those mummies and stuff we saw would be placed inside of this. So this is supposed to, and then they, these are just, you can just see life. She lives, the beloved one lives in the protection of Inpu. So, it's part of an offering, part of an offering. And then the offering is saying 1,000 duck, 1,000 cattle, 1,000 pieces of alabaster, 1,000 barrels of beer, 1,000 bottles of wine. Right, these are the offerings that are given.
This is the symbol for 1,000?
No, this is the symbol for 1,000.
This is one?
Right, this is 2. 1,000, 2, the person who was here. Yes.
Oh, wow.
This is a sim priest. He's the idea of holding a scepter or something to distinguish your rank within the nature, because many people dress the same. So by what you carried in your hand in the form of a scepter or a staff could distinguish one's rank. So this is a sim priest, meaning a full priest, lecture priest in ancient Kemet. And just by him carrying that, when he walked through the market, they know, okay, his rank, simply, by doing that.
What is that you're carrying?
This is just a small token that was given to me by a high priest to just show that I'm a high priest. It shows power. This is the ivory from an elephant, the largest land animal in the world. So as powerful as the elephant is, he's also one of the gentlest creatures in the world. So no matter how much power you have, no matter how much knowledge you have, you still have to be humble and gentle. And this is the part of the tail of a bull. Bull is powerful. Yet it needs to be able to contain its energy. And copper here is a conductor of that energy that flows through my veins. Okay. So the coloration here, the coloration here had nothing to do with that color of the people. The man predicted dark red, Sirius B. Woman, yellow ochre, Sirius A. I know I was in the Cairo Museum and one of the people was a group. They says, yo, Baba and MFundishi, the Kemet were into red bones, huh? I was like, no, brother, this is symbolism, right? Now, the curator of the Cairo Museum, I said, ask them why that's colors like that. And this is what the curator told somebody in my group. He says, oh, well, the men work out in the fields, and so they're exposed to the sun, so they are dark. And the women stay inside, so they're light and yellow and pure like they was born.
Pure light.
And pure
Like they
light.
were born.
Like they were
See the racism, and that is so far from. And then I said to myself, wait a minute, this guy is the king. He's not out in the fields.
Right.
What is he doing in the field?
You know,
Yeah.
but that coloration has nothing to do with the actual complexion that the person was. It's symbolism.
Right. Because they weren't color
Okay,
conscious.
you will see some drawings now. When you see the drawings and illustrations, but it's all that was depicting colors of that they actually were. But all of the temple were used, unless they made them black or that very dark brown. That was the highest reverence that you could give. Here's another one of our trinities, and this is called the false door. In every mortuary temple tomb, you have the false door. This is supposed to be the door that the spirit goes through. You see that judgment scene that they have in Christianity and Judaism? It takes place to every person, but it takes place immediately after your body is going through transformation. There's a time period when the heart stops and the blood stops flowing that you're still not classified really as dead. That has to happen for a prolonged period of time. And it could vary from person to person. Some people can live 10 minutes without it. You know, if the brain is detected denied oxygen for a certain amount of time, then you still could be alive, you just be brain dead. But the body can still be. And then there's a time period where the body can be denied and still be resurrected. But once you go beyond that time, then you go through this spirit world, the spirit door.
Really dead.
Right, you're in a state of transformation. Now again, this is a Hotep de Nasut. It tells you the offering. See how it opens up? I don't have to guess what it is. The first word says Hotep de Nasut. An offering is made on behalf of Inpu. See the jackal? Right, who gives leadership to the throne, and that's to his caress in the mountain. The divine caress. See the natural symbol? Divine. Of Asar in Abju. And then it tells you the city in which he is from. And then it gives it. And then it come back and then it gives the offering. And then it tells you exactly who this is. This says Khufu. Now what do they say over here? Do they have something? What do they say? Here it is over here. All right, Khufu. Okay. All right. So they got that one right. Okay. And it says the Nasut. Look, they didn't use the north. They said the Nasut Khufu, so not the Pharaoh.
Not the Pharaoh.
Which direction is this read?
This particular one is read from right to left.
How can you determine?
You read into the direction that the animals or objects are facing. So the little chicks are facing this way, and you read into their face. Like if I'm talking to you, I talk into your face. I don't talk to the back of your head. Right. If I want to see what the object looks like, I got to see the front of the object. So the direction objects are facing, or the direction of the people are facing. You read into their face.
So if you're reading this way over here.
Right. Now watch the beauty here. I'm glad you asked that question, brother. See, the brother was trying to prep y'all. Y'all should be thanking him. On this side it's read from right to left, but on this side it's read from left to right, showing you total dexterity, ambidexterity, harmonious. This is ma'at, this is balance. When I teach Madu Netra, in the beginning stage, you have to be able to write. You write with your right hand, if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you write with your left hand, but you write in both directions. You have to know how to write going this way, and you have to write going this way. But when you get in the advanced class, you have to be able to write with your right hand in both directions, and then write with your left hand in both. That conditions your right and left brain, your masculine and feminine. The reason why Kemet was able to do this is because they had developed right and left brain. The Western world is a left brain society. Much of matrilineal Africa is a right brain society. Ancient Kosh and ancient Kemet reached certain heights because they were able to combine the two brains. So that's why when you're learning the Kemetic legacy, it's important for you to do many things with the right and then turn around and do it with the left. When I teach Kupagani and Gumi, the African martial arts, they learn a form on the right side and then they have to transfer that information to the left side. The reason why is because here you learn things in the Western world. Usually is wrong for you. So you have to be able to transfer that to your world that makes sense.
So like you're saying, as women, we are neglecting ourselves by not using our left side.
Yes. Because women energy is more right-sided. And you have to, in order for you to be the best woman you can be, you have to develop your left side. In order for a man to be the best man he can be, he has to develop his right side.
I'm already left-handed, so I got
So that
right.
means the males have switched to male because we don't develop our feminine side.
We don't develop our
or
feminine
the
side.
Left side.
Right.
No, we don't.
That's our right
We
side.
don't develop our right side.
Right, right. That's why in the army it's left, the left side. They putting energy on that energy.
That's a male side.
It's also the side of your body that needs to develop the most strength because you're using the right side all the time. So the left side is a little weaker and you need to develop it so that it stays on the same way.
But see, nature, they understood nature. See, we got to go back. Whenever you're in doubt, go to nature. Whenever you're in doubt, let's move on. Okay. Go ahead. 20 minutes? Okay. Okay, some of this is duplication, so we can move down instead of going back. Oh wait, I think I just want to show you this. I just want to show you this. This is in the very early stages of ancient Kemet. And remember, everything came from Kosh, from the land they call Nubia, which Nubia, remember, is a modern name. The ancient people there didn't call themselves, just like the Ethiopians didn't call themselves Ethiop. Ethiop is Greek, means the burnt face. And history can be confusing because sometimes whenever Asiatics talked about anybody black, they were called Ethiopians. So they thought maybe they were from one little area, but no, they could have been from Carthage and they could have been India. They call anybody black Ethiopians at one time. So you have to be very careful on how that's used, okay? The white crown. I just want to show you. This is so-called, quote-unquote, second dynasty. This is going back probably about 4000 BCE. And the white crown synonymous. Very important. That's why I need you to understand that. The white crown synonymous. Okay.
Now, what's the significance of using
They say here
limestone
King
or white
Kasha.
stone?
Just visibility and availability. Limestone was in abundance in the Hopi Valley.
Marvelous Washington Monument made out of
Expose a lie.
There's a big line here.
Say that again?
Big lie here.
What does it say?
Modern copper tools.
Yes. Well, see, that's what I was trying to tell you before. Remember that basalt I showed you? You can't use copper tools to do that. Right. So we don't doubt that they used copper tools,
But it wasn't used to do that.
Right. This wasn't the only tools they had exclusively. Okay.
was copper tool.
In fact, Dr. Van Sertima will tell you that almost 2,000 years ago, the Africans were producing steel in Kenya, in Tanzania and Kenya area. They were producing steel. Wazungu haven't produced steel till like 400 years ago. Okay, so, we need to be clear. This is the same type of pottery we saw that was used in Nubia going back 12,000 years that we showed you downstairs. They used this because it was plentiful, it was easy to carve, and it could be illuminated. If I put a candle inside of that, it would glow.
Oh, okay.
Right, so many lamps and things come in, and so therefore it could be shine, beautification, all those things
What do you
were
think the
adorned.
significance was to make the Washington Monument of limestone? It is made of limestone.
Yeah, it's an imitation because it definitely wasn't in abundance. It wasn't available. It wasn't indigenous to the area. They were trying to imitate the great stone created.
I'm thinking they wanted to represent their phallus, their particular.
That could be. Glass and faience created in Kemet. Okay, so I know they tell you if you look up that glass was created by the Greeks or something like that, but it was created 4,000 years before the Greeks. In fact, glass was used at least 2 different great epochs or time periods before the Greeks ever got it. Somebody just got it and then they said they created it.
Yes.
But we can see from the glass beads and glass, trading. Okay. Again, this wooden statue, left foot forward again, hairstyle.
And a circumcised penis.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you very much, my sister, for being up.
Okay.
From the beginning of ancient Kemet, in fact, circumcision is shown 12,000 BCE in ancient Kemet. 12,000 BCE. And it was by ancient Kemet, 4200, it was just commonplace. Everybody who went through rites of passage. In fact, they circumcised men and women. But everybody got circumcised. It was just part of a rites of passage program. That when you became of age and you officially joined the society as a member of the society, then you were automatically circumcised. Cleanliness and all those type of things. But this is wood, and this hairstyle, we're going to see it and we'll pay attention. Those are twists, those are locks, those are little twists, and then they weave the little twist in and out. Again, left foot forward. Your kilt, your trinities, that's a hotep, then the suit, the spiritual wall. See, now some of this y'all can start to see.
This is what I remember as a little girl being upset about.
Oh, yeah?
I was really upset when I came here. I said, how dare they take this hair?
Yeah. Okay, here they just took the whole blocks from ancient Kemet and just took a whole temple part and brought it in here. Okay, this is good. You see the orientation here? Okay, now what they did here, because this is not an outer monument, it was supposed to be seen by somebody else, they tried to depict the real color. So remember I told you there's monumental where you use the red and yellow, but inside of something like this sometime they would make, and you never saw a Wazungu face in one of these type of settings. They always depicted the person really like they were. And so you can see that's a little darker than normally you would see. They try to depict him just like he was. If you see all the soldiers, all the men, all the fishermen, all of them are dark. Look how dark some of this guy is.
Because that's supposed to be on the inside.
Right.
You never,
right.
Look at the color of her hair.
Right. So this is trying to show an everyday life scene. This is trying to show the things that this person was involved in during his lifetime. Wow. So apparently this person not only is a great ruler, so without even reading about him, I know that he had to deal with the army. You can see, you know.
Part of his life.
Right, you can see this depicts, you know, various aspects of his life. So we can see, and it's showing. Look at their, you know. Okay, and, but again, this is the spirit wall. Okay, anybody, the word, so it would be called the ka. This is the ka. Ka was the word used for spirit.
Yes.
Ba, the word for soul. So sometimes the Europeans get those confused. Ka, spirit, ba, soul. Spirit is connected to the one, and all of us are endowed with the spirit. You might not be conscious of it, you might not utilize it, but it's there. Okay? Ba, the soul, is different. The soul has particular personality. That gives us different characters. So your life, when they believe you are recycled, it is the soul trying to learn lessons that it didn't learn. And therefore, the soul also cannot be destroyed now. That's why there are people, watch this. You've heard people like in a Christian setting or what I want to use, like a Shango setting where you go into trance, and people have spoken in foreign languages and tongues that they have no knowledge of. No one ever taught them. But if they recorded them and they were speaking the language perfectly, why can they do that when no one ever taught them and they never heard it in their life? They are carrying the spiritual energy, the soul of somebody who spoke that language. You can have deja vu. You've been places and you can say, wait a minute, I've never been here physically, but I bet you behind that wall is a picture of Whistler's mother smoking a cigar. Open the door, Whistler's mother smoking a cigar. You've never physically been there, but you've been in contact with somebody who has been there. So it's letting
cycle, you're saying.
Right. And we are sharing energy. There is only one force. There's only the creator. We are all parts of the creator. It's like hairs on your arm. Each hair think that they what's going on. Each head think that they are a total life form in its own totality and think they the one. Not realizing that it's connected to this whole force and all of y'all are sharing the same energy. As individuals, we are connected to the one. But we, think that we the one. Not connected to the one. We think we the one. Oblivious to that. But when you have those type of experiences, you realize that, oh, wow, I'm sharing energy with a lot of other people. I'm sharing a force with a lot of other people. And those examples of what's happening. So there's the spirit world. He's giving his offering.
I'll read this way.
Right, that's reading that way. But on that side, that way.
Okay. At least I know something of the reading.
Okay. And you know that this is a Hotep De Nasu. See that? It starts out by saying, Hotep De Nasu. This offering made to Inpu. An offering given to the great. It says almost the same thing the other one said out there. Straight down.
But I'm striking that picture. I love that picture. Okay. It's a black man.
Of Ra. Right.
I'm sorry, you said something about falcon and I just missed that.
Okay, no, I was just saying that this falcon is an energy of authority, of spirit, and it gives life.
So that's why.
And it says, look, master of the sky, Neb-Het, master of the sky, the great nature of the city. So, it's a force, it's an energy, not gods and goddesses, but every force that they depict on the wall exists inside of each one of us. And so you're supposed to bring out the Haru in you, bring out the Ptah in you. Ptah is also a verb, means creative, means to create. So if I don't put the nature sign behind it, it just means to create. Okay, right, to bring out. When you use the scarab, it means to come forth into your best self, to your highest nature, not your lowest nature.
What does the scarab do that's so important? I know what he does.
We'll do that in transformation. We could spend 3 months
on this
just
scarab.
on the dung beetle. First of all, the ecology of Africa would be so out of whack if there was no dung beetle. Just imagine if you you ever seen a herb in Tanzania, my homeland? If you walk out into the Serengeti plain, you could see 10,000 animals. Now 10,000 animals is eaten, so if you eat, you got to what?
You gotta go.
You gotta go, right? So there's 10,000 turds out there also.
That's a lot.
Now, 10,000 turds, that could get real funky. But yet you can, walk through the savannah and smell the air and it's fresh and you just feel good. So why don't you smell all this funk and all of because them little scarabs go there. It's an elephant. You ever seen an elephant drop it? Blam! So why isn't where elephants are, you just see stuff all over the place? Because as soon as it hit, boom, the scarabs are on it. You might see 100,000, 1,000,000 scarabs. And guess what? All different ethnic groups of scarabs. On one turd, a person who goes in and studies, you might see 20 different species of different type of scarabs attacking this. Total harmony. Take it, they roll it into a perfect circle, a dung, and roll it into their little barrel, lay their eggs in it, and then that's used as food because all it is the grass and stuff that came out. So it's fuel, it's recycled, it's recreation.
So they're not gods, they're forces of the universe.
Right.
And they have a job, a major job.
And all of them exist within you.
So that they get around. Some of them fly, some of them on the ground.
Yeah, some walk, some can fly, some do some of both. Some are real big, some are real microscopic, real little, and they recycling. They recycle, they clean up, and they bring things into itself, and yet giving life. Right. They feed their own, and without them, it would be a literal mess, literally a mess. So the Africans understood because they were people of nature, so they gave reference to this. They're saying, come forth, my brother, come forth, my sister, into the best that you can be, that the limits are unlimited. The only limit is that there is no limit. But as long as you know that, you will always be coming into being. And clean yourself up. Recycle that bad energy into good energy. Let's just stick.
She wants to stick with me.
Maybe we should.
Sorry.
Okay, okay, there's a big monument down there. This is similar to that. It's still the spirit wall, the same deities. You can obviously see, look how dark he is in this picture over there. Just take a picture, look, see? So inside of here, they tried to depict the people just the way they were. They didn't use the red, yellow thing.
Right.
Okay, so that's why everybody's black. Okay, where some of the outer monuments, see, this wasn't supposed to be seen by common people. This, somebody robbed this person's grave.
Made me so. I felt
Somebody
so
violated,
distinguished when I
you have to understand, somebody violated this sacred space. This is a mortuary temple where the person is laid to rest and his own personal family possessions go in here. And this is his personal atonement to the Creator. This is his personal giving back to nature. This is his personal prayer to the Creator on behalf of his family. Okay, and that has been violated and just brought here.
And you can feel the sorrow in this.
And see, yeah, those are locks. Those are twists. If you had a magnifying glass and you saw, you would see it because it's twists. But there's a couple statues I need y'all to see. Oh, this is what this looked like that when they stole this. This room comes from there. Again, the granite stone. And look, without reading, without looking over there, I can just look right over here and see his name, okay? But look at the symbol. Now, they're not going to depict this in this guy's name. First of all, they say Nebtawi means master of the two lands. Now, the Europeans depict this as Lord. But I don't know, Lord sounds like a title that maybe you didn't like necessarily earn, like Lord Kishner or something like that. Yeah, no. Neb means that one has a great mastery over something. That is through a learned skill. Okay, so this person is master of the two lands, and the two lands is Upper and Lower Kemet. And then it says his name, Jesser Ma'at Ra, Setep-in Ra, means beloved of Ra. Jesser, the power, this Ma'at, the truthful power of the energy of Ra. So his name has a certain responsibility. Ren, name is so important. Now he has two names because, well, he has 5 altogether, but 2 names is always carries him, his birth name and his giving name, his responsibility. And again, we see Ma'at Ra, Min Mesu. So this is who they call Ramesses. They're saying the name all wrong.
How do you say it right?
Mesud Ra. One who was born of the energy of Ra. One who was born. Oh, by the way, Moses isn't an African name. So that name that they use in the book is Mes, means born of. So Moses by itself is an incomplete name. It's part of a name. Like Amos, Amos is part of that, all of that, right. Tutmosis, all those, Jehutimus, born of. So it shows you either people had no knowledge of ancient Kemetic culture, or they weren't there at all. That's Asar again. Right, the white crown. And look at that face. The double plumes, Amun. The great woman, how she is depicted. Look at Jehuti, this is one of my favorites over here. This is ancient Kash. This is, what is it, Kashta? Which one is this? Where's his name at? But they don't put his name up here, so I don't know which one. Maybe. But he is one of the rulers of ancient Kash, okay? But this was contemporary with ancient Kemet, not prior to. This is during the same time that Kemet was flourishing. But look at the emblems. Haru, the great falcon. Jehuti, my name is after him, Jehutimus, born in the image of Jehuti. I'm trying to get some of this energy. Okay. But this is Simatawi, they're tying the knot. That's the heart and the lungs forming unity between the north and the south. So that's, symbolically, that's the energy inside of your body. You got to tie links, you got to develop your heart, your lungs, so that you can breathe and become in tune with your upper part of your body, your mind. Because the heart is a symbol of consciousness. And this Nasut is showing that he got the balance, he got it going on. Okay, that's what he's trying to show you. Yeah, that's his, he's telling you, these are different ways of telling you names. See, his name, Keper Es Ren Ra. See, and this is Nasut Biti, meaning ruler of Upper and Lower Kemet. Gives life, the great nature of Djibouti, that's the name of the city. Okay, then he goes. Real quick, I just want y'all to see a couple more. This is part of a temple also. They just took the temple. Quick. Every time you hear somebody say Sphinx, correct them.
Okay.
Sphinx is a Greek word that talks about a Greek god that kills you if you don't know what his rule is, and he's up to no good because he then feeds off of your body and gives it. That has nothing to do with anything African. Nothing. Okay? This is called Haru Im Aket, or a Nebhu. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I won't touch it again. Okay. And it has the name of the Nasut inside. And these monuments were originally done going back 12,000 years ago. That's the age of what? Leo, the lion. So the thing they call the Great Sphinx in ancient Kemet was not built by Ka-F-Ra or Men-Ka-Ra, the son of Khufu, in the so-called 4th dynasty. It was built from 10 to 12,000 years ago.
Yes.
And
They proved
he
that.
just, right, and if you do the carbon dating, they said, oh, the carbon dating must be wrong. Yeah,
Went and said, look, this could
10,000
only have happened
years
10 to 12,000.
right.
Yes.
It even has water erosion that
Yes.
came during a great flood that happened 10,000 years ago. I mean, the whole thing. But they want to say this so that they can take away. So when I say the reunification of ancient Kemet, it shows that that land had been what? Unified at an earlier date.
It's not a sphinx, it's a...
It's a Haru Im Aket, means Haru of the rising sun, of the horizons. And then it ends with Nebhu. You know, you can do it. Haru Im Aket.
I've been saying Paramarket, but
Yeah, that's Greek too, right? Hermakis. Yeah, I've heard some of our teachers. That's Greek.
Haru, Amen,
Aket.
Aket.
Right. Her is Haru. Makis is they're talking about of the horizon. So that's a Greek way of saying Haru Im Aket. I guess that was easy to say. So they used the Greek. Don't use the Greek. These are African monuments, African names. Some people call it also the Nebhu because Nebhu means master of self. Nebhu. Remember that basket was Neb? And then Hu means utterance, the sound, the presence of the creator. The lion was supposed to be master of the animal domain. The man's head was supposed to be master of the spiritual domain. So that's why the man's head is put up there. And so it meant master your animal domain, your animal nature, so that you can rise to your highest spiritual consciousness. And until you can control your animal instinct, your animal nature, you can't rise to your highest spiritual consciousness. So when they put those monuments there, and the Nasut, each Nasut has his head in one, he's showing you he has mastered his animal nature to rise to his highest
instinct.
Yes, he's not just operating on instincts, the primal instincts alone. That he's using his consciousness. He hasn't forgotten them. He has a mastery over them, so he can use them. Don't mess with them now. He can use them. Okay, y'all. I know our time is just about up. The columns, the papyrus, and the lotus, upper and lower Kemet, and then the Greeks and Romans will come. Here's our brothers again. Is this is Aminah? Okay, this is, and you can see the left foot forward. And these are all from Kash. They took all these from the land they called Nubia. All Kash. The columns, exactly the same. Left foot forward. Look, is this the Haka? Who is this one? This is Apesta. Espeto. Okay, and you can see his.
This is
Espes.
Okay.
And his other name is Mer-Ka-Ra. And look, even though he's in Kash, he says he's the Nasut Biti, ruler of Upper and Lower Kemet, that he is the son of Ra. And then it gives his name, Espesta, and then he gives his name, Mer-Ka-Ra. And that he is here to establish life along the Hapi River, and that he gives life, stability, power, and dominion for eternity. And he had to tell the truth, because here we are 5,000 years later still feeling his energy. So was the brother telling the truth? I think so. We talked about the great ram, y'all. Age of Aries. The lion, age of Leo. Age of Aries, the ram-headed divinity. Kanun, what do they say about this? Is another Okay, they lying. Okay, all right, this is just another stuff up here. He's wearing the crown, the plumes. Whenever you see that, the ostrich comes from the Great Lakes region, the center. So all of the religious paraphernalia throughout Kemet or Kush all came from the central part of Africa, where those mountains of the moons were. The mountains of the moons are the seats of our cradle of culture. So and that goes all the way to South Africa. You'll see that energy, that same energy.
Okay, brother, we need a head
Okay, we need to head on. Okay.
So much.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we got just a little piece.
What's on the back of the statue here? Is it anything different than what was on the front?
Yeah, just the whole epic. He has a whole tutelage here of who he is and his rulership. So he says his name again. Mer, and Mer means beloved. Mer Ka, beloved of the spirit of Ra. So he's showing this reference. And remember, Ra is not God. Ra is the energy of the universe. Spiritual force that exists inside of each other. When somebody say, oh, you beaming today, that's Ra beaming out on you, you know. Okay. So we're all connected to Ra. Okay. And then he says he is the Nasut Biti, ruler of upper. He is the son of Ra. He is Kut, he is the spirit. He is connected to the great spirits in his house. He is Espeda, he gives his other name. He establishes the energy along the Happy River. Her means the face of God, or that which is above, that he is connected with his heart, that he gives reverence, he gives libation. See the water coming down? To the beloved Espeda. He gives energy to himself. He's talking about, you know, he is connected to the one, but he's giving energy to himself. If you got to give praise to yourself so that you can give praise to everybody else. If you run around taking care of everybody else and haven't taken care of yourself, you know, that's why for you when you're in a car, they say, put your seatbelt on first, then put it on the baby. If you're on an airplane and something happens, get your air oxygen first, then get oxygen to the baby. Because if you put on the baby and you die and the baby died, you ain't did nothing. So that's what he's doing. He said, I got to give praise to myself so that I can give praise to you. If I love myself, then, and you are part of me, then that's a representation of who I am. I love you the way I love myself. That's what he's kind of saying here. And then he says at the end, I give you life for eternity. And then he says, Naheh, two different forms of eternity. Jet, it says, De Ankh Jet, which means I give life forever. But Jet, that symbol is land. So I give life as long as there is land. But he also, I give life as long as there is Naheh. Naheh means also forever. But Naheh is a symbol of energy with Ra in the center and two H sounds. Those H sounds is breath. So, as long as there is light, energy, and breath. Now, you will never read that in the Egyptology, Sam, you know, forever and ever. So you just take that for granted. But no, he has two forms of forever here. He's saying as long as the land exists, and as long as there's breath, light, and breath, then I will give this type of love. Okay, I guess we out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for tolerating me. Situations, look how they depict the people. In real life situations, they don't use the symbolic color. They tried to make the people basically the way they were. Where on some of the temples, they did symbolic color. Now these are priests also, but you notice they're not bald-headed. People got you thinking that only priests were bald-headed. Only a Wab priest is bald-headed. These are other priests that have other jobs. Remember, priests were regular people that had other, you know, jobs, you know. Trinity again. Trinity again. Symbolism.
This is painful right here.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That's painful. Okay.
Is she had a question over there? Okay, we gotta get out of here. Okay. All right. Oh, let me just, my brother, look. I want to make reference to something like this. When you get good at this, you'll be able to just look at the dress and know the time period that we're talking about. So all these fictitious dates on here, you don't even have to look at them. You can look at, just like right now in America, you had the Roaring 20 style, you had the 30, 40 style, the zoot suits and stuff. Then you came in with the 50s and the little tiny collars and the skinny ties and the, you know. Well, just like you can depict dress trends in America, and ancient Kemet was the same thing. So when I see that long kilt like that, I know that that's during the time period like of the middle period. You know, that was their classical age, where they had kicked the foreigners out and started all over again, pure African. And they came in with a new dress, new concepts and stuff like that. They're trying to bring in new energy. So later you'll be able to just look at clothes and you can see what time period. Oh yes, yes, yeah, you can see that the hair is plaited here. But this is a violation of our ancestors. If we ever regain power, any kind, the first thing we need to ask for is all our stuff back. We want our stuff back. Put them back in the ground, have sacred burials again, and rest them back. How would you feel? We just came to their cemeteries, dug up their uncles, aunts, and great people, and put them on display.
Yeah, we should go dig up ancient Europe. Oh, I'm sorry, there is no ancient Europe.
But what you really need to say is that during the time period that we would classify as ancient Western Asia, is that they didn't bury their dead.
They do.
In many cases, they ate him, or they would leave him out, just like a bear doesn't bury its dead, a gorilla doesn't bury its dead. And so that burial symbol was learned.
Who's really civilized?
Okay, early Asiatics, because they were very nomadic people, cremated and burnt. So that's theirs. The Wazungu, early Wazungu did not bury. The early Asiatics cremated because they were always on the move and they wanted to take the spirit of their grandfather with them. So they cremated and then put the ash in an urn or a pouch and took that with them. Okay. And Africa is the concept because we had nomadic people, but we were the more sedentary and the more ancient. So we were the first to do burial and have a burial land and stuff that you made reverence, as what we call today as a cemetery. So I just want to put it in a historical perspective.
Thank you. I'll use that.
That makes perfect sense too.
You sisters, this is Sekhmet. Whenever the guards aren't looking, touch her. Okay, Sekhmet is a great, powerful, feminine energy. She is one of the most powerful of all warriors. She is the daughter of Ra. When things were out of balance on earth, Ra sent his daughter to bring balance back. And she scorched the earth with fire. No one could stop her. They had to send Jehuti down to trick her and bring her back into balance. And then she transformed into Hetharu. But Sekhmet, that part of you that don't take no stuff is Sekhmet. But the key is though, Sekhmet got to be in balance now. Okay. You gotta get this one. Now, tell me why in the entrance of ancient Kemet you would have this. If it was not to do a mind game on you.
The power of suggestion.
And that's why images speak more than 1,000 words. So they didn't have to say anything there. How are we getting out of here? How do we get out, son? Well, we came in where the coat rack is and
By the parking lot or the Lincoln Avenue?
the avenue.
Lincoln Avenue? If you just go down here, there's some
Straight out?
stairs walking the
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So we're on the opposite end that we came in. So now let me just make a statement here, y'all. I know. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm gonna preface with something positive.
Yes.
You might have heard your great parents or aunts or older people say, if you were acting a little funky, say you must have got off on the wrong side of the bed.
Yes.
Or you didn't get off on the right foot. Because you're supposed to start off on the left foot. The left foot is the right foot. And so when you get up in the morning, the first foot that's supposed to touch the ground floor is the left. When you approach steps, I know my students be watching me. And for this, did you hit the left? Yeah. You're supposed to step up on the left. When you approach a curve, when you're on a mission, you're supposed to start out with your left foot. But more than anything, more than symbolic as that was your left foot, it means that you consciously have taken control of your action. See, most of us are operating on automatic pilot. So you're not even, people driving cars up and down the highway, they're automatic pilot.
Right.
You know, you just a routine, you know, you kind of know the way and you just, you know, you're not really, you thinking about tomorrow, dinner, paper you got to write, you know, okay? But when you consciously put that left foot forward, that means you have taken control of your actions. So try to do this from now on. You start your journey, left foot. You approach steps, left foot.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for your contribution.